here. Our topic today is business optimization. And I am going to share with you over the next 45 minutes or so. And by the way, I will keep my presentation to about 45 minutes. And then I'll stay on as long as there are questions. I'm getting a teeny bit of background noise, so I'm going to mute all of the everybody, but I can still see your questions. If you have questions, just use the Q&A box, and I can see those questions as we're talking. But anyway, I'm going to spend about 45 minutes delivering a presentation where I want to specifically share with you my three-stage strategy, the one I use with my clients today to create what I call a clear path to greater purpose, greater productivity, and greater profits. And I'm sure that's why you're here, why you signed up for this presentation. But just to be sure, I want to make sure that you know who this presentation is for. This presentation is designed specifically for financial planners, financial advisors, wealth managers, and RIAs. I know I've probably missed some titles. We call each other lots of different things in this industry, but this is the main focus. I work with financial advisors, people who use their expertise to help their clients achieve their most important financial goals, whether you do that from a financial planning perspective, an investment perspective, or some combination thereof. And when you think about your business and you think about growing your business, you're thinking about adding more ideal clients so that you can grow your assets under management. And you're probably completely or mostly fee-based. So you have ongoing recurring revenues. And so you really want to focus on growing those two. If you fall into that somewhat general camp, then this presentation is specifically for you. During this presentation, as I said in the invitation, what I want to help you do is gain crystal clear clarity on your future direction. I talk to too many advisors who really aren't sure where they're going with their businesses, or maybe even after they're done with their businesses. I want to show you how to steadily improve your personal and professional productivity. All too often, the things that are holding you back have to do with your productivity. I'm going to show you how to implement client acquisition techniques that attract high-value clients on demand. In other words, when you put a client acquisition routine into play, it should be somewhat automatic, and that's really important. And the clients that I work with are typically trying to add at least 120 grand in more in new recurring fee-based revenues. Some are trying to grow a lot more. Some may focus on assets and they're trying to add, $125 million or so in assets each year. But from a growth perspective, thinking about your business in terms as it relates to recurring fee-based revenues, I think one of those kind of bottom line goals ought to be, I want to add 120 grand or more in recurring fee-based revenues every year. And I'm going to show you how to do that during this presentation. My biggest promise to you, and it's really the title of the seminar, is I'm going to show you a step-by-step process, a step-by-step strategy, 3 stages where you'll gain greater purpose, profit, and productivity in your business and in your personal life as well. I've only made one assumption for this presentation. So if you're part of that audience that I described just a minute ago, and you have some of the goals in mind that I just went over 2 slides ago, I'm just making one other assumption, or really one specific assumption. You are really good at what you do. You want to get better, and you hold yourself to the highest ethical standards. If you're on this presentation because you're looking for the next silver bullet, you're in the wrong place. If you're on this presentation hoping there's a way that you can just sell more stuff, that how you serve your clients, the way you treat your clients isn't of paramount importance to you, you're in the right stuff. I work with top-level advisors who are really serious about taking care of their clients with the highest ethical standards. So that's the one assumption I'm making is I introduce you to this three-stage process. So before we jump into those three stages, let me ask you a series of questions. This first series of questions kind of goes around the main question of, does this sound like you? And I ask these questions because this is the stuff that I hear advisors talking about all the time when I meet them, especially when I meet them for the first time. So, you know, think about it. Do you spend hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars on lists, referral programs, seminar programs, website opportunities, social media opportunities, only to find that you could have thrown darts at the yellow pages and done a better job of generating qualified prospects? There's a lot of crap out there that people are offering. And honestly, a lot of it works if it's implemented properly, but mostly there's a lot of crap out there that people are asking you to spend a ton of money on. It doesn't all fit your business. And when you really think about it, when you really think about the money that you may have invested in those programs, you haven't gotten the return that you expected. What about this? Do you have some months where new assets just pour into your business, and then other months you just can't seem to make it happen? Nothing comes in. You have hot spells and cold spells. Does that sound like you and your business? If you're trying to add that 120 grand in new revenues to your business, you know, do you have some months maybe where you add, you know, 3 or 4 new clients that bring in, you know, $10, $12, $15,000 in recurring fees, and then you go a couple of months where you don't get anybody, or the only people that come in the door are people who really aren't ideal to your practice and are generating, you know, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 in fees, and you wonder why you should even add them to your practice, or if you should add them to your practice at all. How about this? And I think this is the big one. Are you comfortable with your success? You're doing okay. You're making a good living. You know, you're doing okay, but you still feel a burning desire to grow more quickly. And it's not all about the money. It's not all about putting more money in your practice. It's because you desire more of yourself. And the way that you run your business can impact your clients and their lives, the lives of the members of your team, your family, and the causes you care about. Does that sound like you? Are you comfortable, but not really thinking, you know, hey, this is the business that I really want to run, not the business that I dreamed about building when I started my financial advisory practice? Does that sound like you? That's the kind of stuff that I hear regularly from advisors that I meet. And it's not all your fault, because there's a lot of things that are thrown at you that keep you from focusing on what I call business optimization. Folks are telling you, these are the best funds to use in your portfolios. This is the best financial planning software that you can use. And if you use these portfolios, if you use this software, if you use this CRM, if you jump to this firm, your business will grow. And all of those things may have some element of truth, but they aren't true if you aren't optimizing for building that practice that you're proud of, that practice that really focuses on your purpose, that makes sure that you're being as productive as you can be. The members of your team are productive and you're profitable. You're bringing more and more money to the bottom line that you can use for the things that you care about. That's the real problem. That's what I really want to make sure we talk about today, because once you optimize your practice, I believe you can add ideal clients month after month by using a system that sets you apart from your competition. Your prospects believe they have no choice but to work with you. When people view your practice with that purpose that you have, when you're when you're operating at your ultimate productivity, prospects are going to want to work with you. They're going to see that there isn't really a choice. Even if they're working with another advisor, they've been working with another advisor for years. When you optimize, you will have complete control over who you choose to work with, how you choose to serve them, and the fee you deserve for the value that you bring. It's not a case of having to accept just any client, doing for them, all sorts of hyper customized stuff that is impossible for you and your team to keep up with. And then you end up giving them a discount whether they ask or not. When you have an optimized practice, you have control over who you serve, how you serve them, and what they pay you. And when you have an optimized practice, you will also grow your revenues and your assets faster than you ever thought possible, oftentimes doubling every 18 to 36 months. I have clients that double like this all the time, and it's because they're focused on optimizing their practices. So those are the things that I want you to be thinking about. Oh, I almost forgot one. And you will do this while reaffirming the deep passion, the excitement and joy you have for the work you do and the people that you serve. That's the purpose part. All too often, advisors get into this business because they have a purpose. They have dreams about who they want to serve and what a noble cause it is, because this is a service business where you can make a difference in people's lives, but you can lose that in all the madness. Oh, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Rob Brown. I've been in the financial services industry for 30 plus years, my whole career. I'm kind of an advisor to advisors. I do coaching. I don't do recruiting. I don't sell marketing systems. I do coaching and consulting with advisors, where I really specialize in helping folks like you transform your businesses so you can grow more quickly, have greater freedom in your lives, and really run a purposeful business. That's all I'm going to say about myself. This is not a sales pitch. And I believe there are 5 fundamental truths of business optimization. Number 1, you have to understand your purpose. You have to be intentional about what you do. You can't just say, I help people, or I'm a financial planner, or I'm a financial advisor. You have to be thinking, why are you doing that? Answering that why question can be critical for setting your direction and being excited about it and working on those things that really allow you to go to that fundamental truth number 2, to position yourself to serve your most ideal clients. Your most ideal clients. Your most ideal clients could be clients with $5 million and more in assets under management. They could be a combination of small clients and big clients, but they're your ideal clients because they help fulfill the purpose that you have for your business. Another fundamental truth, really critical in this busy world that we live in today that's full of distractions. And I know that I'm talking right now. A lot of you are listening to me, looking at your screen, and you're probably checking out, what's going on in DC or what's going on in the markets, or you're checking your email. I know that. Turn that other stuff off, because that's part of this other fundamental truth. You have to know how to get more done in less time with less stress. And part of that productivity is not being distracted, staying focused. And when you do those things, as I said a minute ago, your profits grow faster than you ever thought possible. You can actually be thinking ahead to how much money you really want to make through your business, and not be afraid to really look for big numbers and big results, all while delivering the highest levels of client care and advice. One thing I didn't mention about myself is I wrote a book a few years ago. It's called Delivering the Ultimate Client Experience. It is based on the belief that everything that we do ought to be built around the way that you serve your clients. So to have that purpose, to be intentional, to serve your most ideal clients, to get more done in less time, to grow faster. It all has to be done while delivering the highest levels of client care and advice possible. Those are the fundamental truths of business optimization. And I'd like you to look at this chart, because this is a graphic that I created that I call the optimized advisory practice, that might help you think about where your business is today. I believe there are 4 levels of an advisory practice, 4 levels that you work up to as you're optimizing your practice, as you're adding ideal clients. It starts with what I call the aspiring level. Maybe you're at or under $50 million in assets under management. To get to that next level of achieving, first thing that you need to do is you make sure that you have a clear vision, a clear vision and clear client focus. You need to know who it is that you want to work with, because if you're at that aspiring level, you're probably scrambling. You're trying to be all things to all people. So that's the aspiring level. That's the first level. And by the way, on the 2 sides of the pyramid, you'll notice the right side says keys to success. Those things you need to work on at that level to continuously optimize your practice. And the things on the left side are the symptoms of that level, the kind of how you feel about your business as you're thinking about moving to that next level. When you move through the aspiring stage, then you move to achieving. And that's probably in the 50 to 200 million in assets under management range. You're starting to feel overwhelmed. That's a key symptom. Time is at a premium. So you've maybe stopped trying to be all things to all people, because time is at a premium. You can't be all things to all people. And that clear vision that you created is now turned into a memorable, repeatable, and referable client care process that both takes care of your clients, but also is the basis for how you talk to prospective clients about the way that you work. So that's the achieving level. Level 3 is thriving. For some people, this might be a little bit less than 200 million, but in general, I'd say it starts at about 200 million and works its way up to about 500 million. Here's a really cool level, because the symptom that you're feeling is that you are impatient, because you want to grow even more, but the way that you've grown to get from aspiring to achieving to thriving is going to be different at this level, because it's not doing the same things over and over again. It's figuring out those things that are most important for systematizing your growth, so it becomes more automatic. Getting from 0 to $200 million in assets is a whole lot different than getting from 200 million to 500 million. You don't do the same things, and you're feeling impatient. And when you're truly optimized, when you're dominating in the business, you're probably at that 500 million or more level. You're working your way towards $1 billion in assets under management. You're feeling assured. You're feeling a sense of freedom and accomplishment. The symptoms are more positive, way more positive than negative when you're thinking about your business. And the keys to success at that level are greater teamwork, exercising your authority in the marketplace to make sure those ideal clients of yours truly understand, those ideal prospects of yours truly understand the way that you can serve them and why what you do is unique to your process. And you're thinking about the longevity of your business, thinking about the next steps in the succession of your business. But that's the optimization process. That's what happens. So I would encourage you all to think about it. Where are you on this pyramid? Are you aspiring? Are you achieving? Are you thriving? That's part of the vision, of creating that vision that you have for your future success. So let's dig into how to move up those levels. Let's dig into, if you're in that aspiring stage, how to get to achieving, how to get to thriving, how to get to dominating. And it's a 3-stage process. Stage 1 is the foundation. Foundation is critical. It's just like the foundational aspects of putting together a portfolio for your clients or building a financial plan for your clients. They have to understand the foundation before they can build on it. I use a roadmap to help my clients optimize. And you'll see stage 1 of that optimization process is the foundation. So stage 1 is the foundation. Here, let me grab the marker here so I can make sure you see what I am pointing to. So what we want to talk about first for stage 1 is this foundational level of your business. Oh, actually, it's not. I guess it's okay. Anyway, as I said a minute ago, I'm using some new tools, so I'm not sure I'm using the pointer the right way, but I'm trying to circle right now. So stage 1 is the foundation. The overall roadmap is trying to get your business from your point A to your point B. So no matter which level of the pyramid you're in, you're moving to a higher and higher level. This is not you don't go through this optimization process just one time in your business. You're continuously going through it, thinking about how you can get from point A at the foundational level to point B here at the top right in the mastery level. But right now, for stage 1, I want to focus on foundation. I want to walk you through the foundational elements of optimizing your practice. It's picturing your success, understanding your ultimate client equation, and defining your success habits. Those things are going to help you drive your business forward. So let's jump into them one at a time. So picturing your success. It's really pretty easy, but I find advisors really struggle with this. Sometimes it's tough to get people to think about where they want to be. But climbing that success ladder, climbing those success steps, is really just a 3-step process. You have to clearly understand where you are in your business today. Take an honest review of where your business is today. Use the roadmap to do that. Picture where you would like to be in the future, whether it's, at the end of next year or it's 5 years from now. And then the third step is just to do some subtraction. What's the difference between where you want to be and where you are today? That's your success gap. That's how you need to begin to picture your success. Norman Vincent Peale said, "Formulate and stamp indelibly on your mind a mental picture of yourself as succeeding. Hold this picture tenaciously. Never permit it to fade. Your mind will seek to develop the picture. Do not build up obstacles in your imagination." That's what I help my clients do. That's what I want to encourage you to do. You can do it as soon as we hang up with this call, or you can even be thinking about it during this call. What does that picture of success look like for you? What do you really want your business to look like? Think about your purpose, who you want to serve. Think about your profits. How much money do you want to make in your business and through your business? And what do you want to do with that? Those are important things to be thinking about as you're building the foundational levels of your business. The next step, the part where we really formulate that future client or ultimate client equation, is taking that goal that you had, those goals that you have, that picture that you have for success, and relating that back to what you need to do from a growth perspective. And it doesn't have to be that complicated, but you have to do this math. Too many advisors say, I just want to grow by $120,000 in fee-based revenues next year, and then they just start working and hope that it happens. They don't know what that number really means relative to their overall business. So one exercise that I go through with my clients is looking at marketing and sales flow. And it's a very straightforward process. I'm going to share this screen with you now, and I'm going to share a different one with you in a little bit that's part of the same process. But we simply look at, what have your results been for the last year? How much revenue, where have your revenues been for the last 12 months? Where are your assets under management? Whatever that number is that you want to measure. But fill that in. What does your trailing 12 look like? And then dream a little bit. Think about where you want to be at the end of next year. So, what does that growth, what will that growth look like? That's really, step one and step two, just a narrow part of that picture of success, because we're only talking about the growth side, but that has to be one of the first steps of the foundational level of growing your practice. And then you can simply calculate your growth gap. So what's the difference between where you are now and where you want to be a year from now? That's your growth gap. And then you have to do some calculations. This isn't, an exact science. Some of this is going to be guessing, but you have to say, how much of that growth am I going to get from the market, if any? Maybe you don't want to count on any market growth. In fact, maybe you think the market may pull back some and your overall revenues and assets may drop a little bit. So might want to account for that here. How much new business, whether it's revenues or assets, will you bring in? I call it new old, but it's really new business from your existing clients. How much new business do you think your existing clients will bring in to help you close that success gap? And then the final level is new business from new clients. How much business do you need to bring in from new clients to be able to reach that goal? And these three numbers, the business that comes in from growth, the business that comes in from current clients, the business comes in from new clients, will help you close that gap. This is part of the foundational level of understanding how you're going to optimize your business. You can't just say, I'm going to grow, or I hope to grow. You have to understand clearly where you think that business is going to come from. But, there's a lot of stuff that kind of stands in the way of doing that calculation or getting that kind of thinking. And that's why the third level, or the third step of this foundational level, is looking at success habits. We talked about picturing success, getting that picture in your mind of where you want to be. We talked about the initial phase of calculating your ultimate client equation, so you know where you are today and where you want to be from a growth perspective. This third aspect is success habits. It's extremely important, because too many of you think, I don't have enough time to stop and think about this. I don't know the right way to grow. I feel like a captive to compliance and administration and new technology and competition. Maybe you have people beating down your doors, wanting you to change firms or go independent or start an RIA. So you wonder about greener pastures. And all these things kind of add to self-doubt. They take away from that vision that you have for your future success. And so the visions begin to fade. So that success habit element of your at the foundational level of the roadmap really stops you from having what I call the Daily Juggling Act, where you're just winging it. There's no real planning for your business. You tell yourself that you have to be ready to, quote unquote, react to the market or to phone calls or to interruptions from your team. You can't have a daily routine in this business. You say time blocking doesn't work. I've been told that time blocking is the key to success, and it doesn't work, but you've never tried it or done it the right way. Or you say, I'm not going to listen to any of this stuff Rob is talking about. I don't believe in all this mumbo jumbo because That's not the way I've always done it. These things get in your way. That's why at this foundational level, you need to have success habits. Success habits allow you to put first things first. They make sure that you and the members of your team are working on the things in your business that will move the needle the best. You have a system for understanding those things that you need to work on. I call it delete, delegate, delay, and do. It's central to my time mastery promise because I want my clients, I want you, just by listening to this call, to think about how you can spend more time focusing on your highest value activities so you can avoid being needlessly interrupted, so you can match time to client promises and team commitments as opposed to matching your time to those things that distract you, because I want you to be able to finish what you start. Having that picture of success is great, but if you can't finish it, if you can't get there, it's not a good picture. And that's why you need to implement success habits that will allow you to have that kind of growth. This brings me to stage 2, elevation. In stage 2, right here in the middle, has 3 elements to it. It starts here on the right-hand side, developing a signature solution, the way that you describe your unique client proposition to your clients and to your prospective clients, so that your client solution is the thing that helps you stand out, that really helps you build your business. That leads to greater advocacy, more opportunities for business, and referrals from your clients, your centers of influence, and people that you know, to get those introductions, real meaningful introductions. A lot of advisors that I work with, when they're trying to elevate their business, get all the growth they need just from this stage because they master the advocacy process. Another important element, though, of the elevation stage is what I call solution selling. A number of advisors will come to me and say, Rob, I don't know how to close. I'm not good at closing. Or can you teach me about conceptual selling? Can you teach me how to really explain to my clients how I can help them solve their problems so that they will become clients of my practice? So the selling process becomes less selling and more consultative. That's solution selling. And these are the 3 elements of the elevate stage of the Encore business optimization process. Let's walk through them in some detail. So the old way, think about this. Maybe this is the way your business is working right now. You're getting sporadic client referrals. It's reactive. You have no controls. You're not quite sure how to approach your connections. You don't know the right words to use with your connections, your centers of influence, to get them to introduce you to new clients, or to those personal connections you have, to get them to think about you as someone that they want to work with as an advisor. So you have a scattered flow, if any, and you have a scattered flow, if any, of cold leads. Maybe you don't even have a system for bringing in cold leads for your practice, or if you do, they may not qualify to work with you. So you've got those seminars going on, and these people that you've never met before show up, and most of them, if not all of them, really aren't ideal for your practice. But they showed up because you put this event on, and they want to come have lunch or come have dinner. That's the old way. The old way is also website, LinkedIn, and social media. If you're able to use them all, or if you're using them at all, don't produce results. I call this wishful thinking selling, where you have tools, you're spending money, but nothing good is really coming from it. Graphically, it looks a little bit like this. On the right-hand side here, you see all of these different things that you can throw into the prospecting, marketing, client acquisition mix: referrals, Facebook, LinkedIn, CPA partnerships, SEO, and they're creating prospecting uncertainty, because really what's happening is you're saying, I'm really going to focus on growing my business this year. I really want to move to that next level. I'm going to create that prospecting marketing strategy. that really works. So you set out to do that. And then you go to the stage of kind of figuring out what to do. And you've got like 10 things that people are throwing at you. You don't know which one fits your business the most. You have no way of measuring your results because you haven't done the math on your future client equation that I was talking about just a minute ago. So you end up again with that trickle of leads, something that you can't count on. You get sporadic results. So you don't really feel good about happening. And then next year you start again. You're like, okay, I'm just going to start this circle of frustration again. That's the old way of thinking about client acquisition. The new way is what I call the UCP, the Unique Client Proposition Marketing System. When you do this right, clients know when, how, and who to refer. My clients are getting an average of 2 referrals per advocate per year. You know, if you have 20 advocates in your practice, that's 40 referrals per year. How many referrals out of 40 could you close? And what kind of difference would that make to your growth? Your connection, those people that you know that you're open for business and they come to you. And your COI starts sending you regular business, a half a dozen or a dozen more introductions per year. That's part of the advocacy stage of my process that comes from the UCP marketing system. Your website, LinkedIn, and social media magnify and unify your message so you begin to establish authority. You do get regular streams of qualified cold leads who are ready to do business. And because you run the system regularly, you're planting new seeds for new business every day so that you don't have dry spells. You have consistent, on-demand client acquisition. And it all starts by first understanding what your unique client proposition is. Thinking about what is your commitment to your client? What promise are you making to your clients if they work with you? You're applying that to your most ideal audience. So not just to anybody that you may meet, but to your most ideal audience. You add that to your experience when you can add your commitment, your ideal audience, and your expertise together. That is your unique client proposition. And I have a lot of advisors tell me, Rob, there's nothing unique about what I do, or I don't feel unique. Every advisor is unique because your experience, your expertise, your commitment, and identifying the people that you want to serve makes what you do unique, because there is nobody exactly like you. It doesn't mean that there aren't other people who would like to work with the clients that you'd like to work with, but you can stand out. You can be unique. And when you are unique, when you are using the UCP marketing system, that mess that we saw a minute ago, the old way of get all this stuff being thrown at you, you're not sure exactly how to use it. It creates prospecting and marketing uncertainty, turns into a straight line where you are sending the people that you want to do business with, whether they're clients who are going to send you referrals, centers of influence who are going to send you introductions, your connections, people that you know, or cold leads are all getting to see what your unique client proposition is. And when they see that, they raise their hands and say, hey, I want to learn more about how you can do what you say you do for me. That gets you that predictable flow of leads and that more predictable flow of new idea clients. That's the UCP marketing system. And that's part of the elevation stage of the Encore method. I told you a minute ago that actually probably 5 minutes ago now, that I was going to show you sort of a second piece of that ultimate client equation. So when we're trying to figure out that growth strategy, one of the things that we also do is we look at the marketing strategies that you want to use, you would like to use, or define those that are best for you if you don't know those already. We look at ways that we can help apply those to your authority engine, to that UCP marketing engine, so that you get that predictable lead flow and you get that predictable flow of ideal clients. And it's all math. We know that there are certain results that you get from putting on events, from talking to your active prospects, from talking to your clients about referrals, from doing Facebook advertising campaigns, whatever it might be. We know that if we choose to use those strategies to share our authority engine, our unique client proposition, that each one will generate a predictable flow of leads if they're done right. And that predictable flow of leads will turn into the right number of ideal clients, which you can then match up to that last chart, or that chart that we showed a minute ago, or I showed a minute ago, around closing that growth gap. If that growth gap includes getting new money, new business, new assets from new clients, you can break that down by the number, or into the number of new ideal clients that you need to add, which can be matched up against the strategies that you use using the unique client proposition marketing system to get you there. It's a very straightforward process. You know, I work with advisors who help their clients put together investment portfolios or put together financial plans. And they're very confident around their disciplines and their strategies. But they don't have a discipline or strategy for optimizing their own practice. You know, they optimize portfolios, but they don't optimize their practice. I think there isn't a process for doing that. There is. My process, the thing that I use successfully all the time, is what I call the Encore business optimization process. This, in marketing terms, is called a signature solution. This roadmap that helps people get from point A to point B is my signature solution. This is how I can describe to anybody that I meet, you know, whether you have $50 million in assets under management or $500 million in assets under management, how I can help you to continuously optimize your practice and get to that next level of success. And I'm not saying this as an advertisement, although obviously it is. I'm saying it because you can create your own signature system. That is a part of this elevation stage. So you have to say, okay, how am I going to uniquely define my client proposition so that I have a signature system that will help me build advocacy, that will help me with solution selling, that will help me add or answer that question for my ultimate client equation. So this is an exercise. This is just one of the exercises that I work through with my clients when I'm helping them define their own signature systems. I use that same format. You know, what's your ideal client's point A? What is their point B? In this example, it's an uncertain course, and they want to reach their destination. What are their stages? They want to evaluate, they want to implement, they want to maintain. And then what are the key questions or key points that you make through each of these steps as you're winding your client or your prospect through that process? This signature system, when it's done right, is that authority engine that when you're introducing your prospects to it through your various marketing strategies, gives you that predictable flow of leads. I see it happening over and over again. One of my favorite conversations with my clients when I help them build a signature system is the way that they take it out to their current clients and say, hey, I've done something new in my business. I wanted to really design a way to better describe the way that I help you achieve your goals. This is what it looks like. Give me your feedback. Their current clients love it. They go, oh man, you're right. You're doing that stuff, but there's some stuff on there that I didn't know that you could do, that you could help me with. And you know, I know some people who could benefit from this system. So it becomes a referral generating tool. If you're meeting somebody who's been referred to you or who's come to a meeting with you because they were a Facebook lead, I don't care where they come from, and you walk them through this process where they're going to say, you know, most advisors just kind of make it up, or they all say the same thing. I appreciate you have a specific roadmap for helping me get from point A to point B that also helps me understand what to expect from you. how you will serve me. So that's the signature solution, a critical part of your elevation stage in your business. I would encourage you to build one for yourself. The last stage of elevation is what I call solution selling. And I think we've gotten sloppy teaching solution selling or conceptual selling in our industry. It used to be a big deal, but now a lot of folks are just winging it. Solution selling is all about having a process for having a conversation. And when you have a process for a conversation where you can help people understand what their biggest need is and how you help them solve it, you will get the business. Closing becomes almost automatic. I'm going to very quickly to share with you 4 slides that demonstrate the solution selling that I do when I talk to a prospective client of mine on the phone. Because these tools I'm talking about, my signature solution, is very similar to the signature solution that you would use in your business. I use the very same tools in my business that I am suggesting you use in yours. In fact, I use these tools in my business when I was a financial advisor for 25 years. But I want to show you my solution selling process. The first thing I do when I meet with somebody, usually it's over the phone, we build some rapport. I want the person I'm speaking with to generally feel welcome. I want them to know what I've learned about them in advance. So if they've come to a webinar like this and they've said, hey, Rob, I want to talk to you after the webinar, and they schedule a call with me, I'm going to do a little bit of homework, see if I can find out more about them, look at their website, look at their LinkedIn profile. And then I tell myself, stay focused. You've got to stay on track. You want somebody to feel welcome, but you don't want to wander around with lots of useless information that doesn't help drive the process forward. Then the next thing that I do is I take control. I tell people, hey, I want to respect both of our time. So this is my process. This is what I find out works best. And I'll say, we'll just do a deep dive into what's working or not working right now for you. We'll talk about what you want from your business. And if I can help, I'll share exactly how. And if not, I'll point you in the right direction. That's the same thing that happens with you in a discovery meeting with one of your prospective clients. We're going to dive into your portfolio right now. We're going to look at your financial plan right now. We're going to see what you want. And then I'm going to give you some ideas on how I can help you, how I can build a portfolio for you, how I can build a plan for you. If I think that I can, if I think we're a good fit. And if not, I'll tell you that, and I'll point you in the right direction. I know another advisor. I can send you to an online firm. And then we'll have some fun, because you want to make the person that you're meeting with think, hey, this isn't just, a boring business planning conversation. That personality needs to come out. Then I start with what I call big question part 1. And I just ask, tell me what's not working in your business. Or for you, it might be, tell me what's not working for you when it comes to thinking about planning for your retirement. You identify the prospect. You ask the client a lot of questions to really focus on that process so that you can show that you understand what they're going through and ultimately be able to determine if you're the right person to help them, to expand trust, to demonstrate expertise. And then I'm not going to go through all the stages. There are a couple of other questions that I ask when I'm helping my advisors learn this process. We develop these. And by the way, I want to point out, every time I get on the phone with a client, I review this set of slides. Sometimes I keep them up in the background just to remind me about the process. The discipline of the process is really important. But up front, I want to know what solution I'm solving for. What's the big problem? And then when it comes to the end, I say, hey, okay, let me make sure I understand what you told me. Repeat what they told you. Recap the big challenges. Make sure you have it right. Because in the end, what you're selling is the solution to those problems. And your roadmap, that process that you go through for your unique client proposition, is the thing that you're really selling, because it solves for those problems whatever those problems, those challenges, those goals might be. That's solution selling. It works incredibly well. This leads me to the last stage, stage 3, which is mastery. And mastery is all about automation, automating your processes, building your dream team. So making sure that the people are working, who are working around you, whether it's just you and an assistant that you share, or outside partners that you use to do different parts of your business, or you've built a multi-advisor, multi-staff team, having a dream team where everybody understands their role. And then ultimately, you have a succession plan. You know where your business is going and that you're going to maximize the value of your business because you've automated, your team is in place, and you've thought about a proper succession plan that's all built around a foundational level of your practice that grows regularly. Businesses are worth more if they grow regularly. So I'm not going to go through each of these stages the same way. I want to share with you just a couple of case studies to kind of illustrate the mastery stage. This is a client of mine, Ron. He's an RIA. Over the last few years, we've grown from $110 million to $190 million together. I've helped him find his successor. So I helped him actually identify who the right person was to come into his practice, to work with him for the next few years, to build that dream team so that when he was ready, so that when he's ready to sell his business and retire, he can do that. It's actually selling it off in pieces. We worked on one project a few years ago that generated about $100K in new revenues in about 90 days by leveraging his expertise. In last year, he added $23 million in new assets. We did that because we understood those parts of his business that he needed to automate. Part of that came by adding both a junior partner, his successor, as well as another member of his team to help him implement a new portfolio management software to make what he's doing from an investment management process more automated. So he's built out that team and he has a succession plan in place. That's mastery. That's when you know that you're working at that highest level of your business. Another client of mine, Ron, also an RIA. I've been working with Ron for about 7 years now. He has a 1-year plan. He has a 3-year picture. He has a 10-year target. They aren't all around money, although money is a big deal. He knows what his number is, what he wants to be able to sell his practice for when he retires, and he knows who he's going to sell it to. But he also has gotten built stronger relationships with his family. He's increased his faith life. He feels like he has more personal freedom. He takes Fridays off every week. And while he's done that, he's grown his revenues from under $1 million to almost $2.5 million. His goal for next year is $3.3 million. Last year, he added $70 million in assets. And again, it's because he has automated processes. Part of that is bringing in new teammates, new softwares. He implemented a new CRM system this year. He properly implemented his portfolio management and billing software that he had been using improperly. He has a stronger team and he knows who is going to succeed in. So that's mastery. That's when you know you're at the right stage. I was talking with a client of mine, Matt, yesterday. He's affiliated with the firm whose fiscal year ended at the end of September. And he told me that last year he grew from $734 million in assets to $112 million in assets. And his revenues grew, I'm sorry, I said that incorrectly. Actually, I'm reading his revenues grew from 734,000 to 1,178,000. So 734,000 to almost 1.2 million. And its assets grew from 112 million to 132 million. And he passed the $1 million revenue mark for the first time. He passed the $100 million mark in fee-based assets for the first time. And it's because we spent time automating some of his procedures, working with his, and he's a solo advisor, working with his assistant, building a stronger relationship with her, and he's in the process of looking at a couple of practices to buy to accelerate that growth, but to also build that succession plan. So that's case study number 3, another example of automation, dream team, succession, the mastery stage of the Encore approach. All right. I've covered a lot of ground. I appreciate the fact that you're sticking with me because I've gone longer than I anticipated. But my promise to you at the beginning was I wanted to give you a way to gain crystal clear clarity on your future direction. Wanted to show you how to steadily improve your personal and professional productivity. Wanted to show you how to implement client acquisition techniques that attract high-value clients on demand, and more specifically to show you that if you're serious about those things, that you can add 120 grand or more in recurring fee-based revenues every year. I feel like I've kept my promise by going through each of the stages of the Encore method. My big promise to you was I wanted to share with you a step-by-step strategy to greater purpose, productivity, and profits. The methodology that I went through with you, the 3-stage process, are the 3 stages that I use to help clients like Ron, to help clients like Michael, to help clients like Matt get greater focus on their purpose, to become more productive and generate greater profits. So I hope you can appreciate those things. I hope you can see how you can begin to optimize your practice no matter where you are on this scale, whether you're aspiring, achieving, thriving, or dominating. So now you're at a point, you have a choice. You can keep doing what you've been doing and expect the same results that you've been getting. I mean, that's just common sense, right? Or you can decide to implement a process, a system like the Encore business optimization process and optimize your practice. It's really up to you. If you want a copy of my slides so that you can go out and do this on your own, shoot me an email, Rob, R-O-B-B, at encorepartners.com. Just put 3-stage webinar in the subject line, and I'll send you a copy of the slides so that you'll have access to all of the tools and techniques that I went through. But if you want even more help, I've set aside some time over the next couple of days to personally look at your business and talk about the way that you can optimize it. I spend about an hour with people with advisors with no obligation, and talk specifically about your business. In fact, I showed you what that presentation looks like. It is a selling presentation. It is solution selling, but it's not hard close selling. It's about giving you ideas that you can walk away from that call with that are even more specific than you may be able to draw out of the presentation today. And I can tell you, whatever your biggest challenges are, I've seen them and I know how to overcome them. That sounds bold, but I've been at this 30 years. There's rarely, if ever, a question I get that I haven't seen in some way, shape, or form before. And that's why I want to talk with you. On a session, I'll help you begin to craft your game plan. So you'll walk away from that call with a roadmap for optimizing your practice, and I do it for free. I do it because, one, I like helping advisors. I love giving stuff for free to advisors, to potential clients, because I know I always get something back. And this is for you. If you're awesome at what you do, you're open to new ideas. Those are the only 2 requirements. And as I said, I actually jumped ahead there on my slides. I apologize. So if you're wondering why I love giving back. I love helping advisors achieve their goals. That's part of my purpose in building my business. Plus, I know some of you will want additional help, and maybe we'll get a chance to work together if we're a good fit for each other. But if you sign up for the call and we determine that we're not a good fit for each other, you're still going to walk away with a roadmap for taking your business to that next level of success, for optimizing your practice. So that's it. That's my pitch, if you will. Go to encorepartners.com/apply. That's encorepartners.com/apply. Pick a time that fits your calendar. I've actually added some extra times, both this afternoon and tomorrow morning. So if you're kind of hot on this topic, you're thinking, Rob talked about the number of things that I could do to optimize my business. Just pick a time. Let's get on the phone and we'll talk about them. I don't bite. I won't push. No hype, no high pressure selling. I'm all about giving and getting. I see it over and over again in my life and in the lives of my clients. The more we give, the more we get, without expectation. And I really and truly believe that. So just go to encorepartners.com/apply, schedule a time to talk with me. We'll talk about your business. You'll walk away with a roadmap. And if there's an opportunity to work together, we'll decide that together and we'll talk specifically about that, but it won't be a sales call. So that's it. And I've been as upfront with you as I possibly can be. I showed you what we'll talk about on the call. So I hope that's helpful. So let me stop there and see if there are any questions. What I'd ask you to do